Colson chats with Boardroom about her decision to leave the Las Vegas Aces and join the Indiana Fever, the current state of women basketball, what she's been up to in the content game, and much more.
Aja Wilson is fuming after a shocking WNBA shakeup. Her longtime teammate and close ally, Sydney Coulson, left the back-to-back champion Las Vegas Aces to join Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, stunning fans and shaking up the league's power dynamics.
Two-time WNBA champion Sydney Coulson is officially signing a one-year deal with the Indiana Fever. So, the Fever just keep on doing what they've been doing. They're not playing no games in Indiana.
The so-called Aces dynasty is showing cracks, and Aja Wilson's fans are spiraling. Among all of Indiana's offseason moves, this might be the biggest. Sydney Coulson could be the final piece that pushes the Fever into true championship contention. Are you ready for the chaos? Let's go.
Obviously, you made a big change in leaving the Aces for the Fever. What made you want to join Indiana? Here we go. Sydney Coulson stated it was a variety of things. There was a new coaching staff. Amber Cox was a big part of that. Kelsey Mitchell, I played with her for the first 3 seasons. Joanna Bonner and Natasha Howard are players I respected from afar. Enjoy their game. Kate Martin, my teammate from the Aces, obviously good friends with Caitlin Clark. They play together at Iowa, and she speaks really highly of her. And obviously, we saw the rookie year that she had.
Imagine Aja Wilson waking up, checking her phone, and discovering her most trusted teammate is gone. Not traded, not cut, but gone by choice. Sydney Coulson, a 2-time WNBA champion, wasn't just another player. She was Wilson's confidant, her go-to, the heart of the Aces locker room. But something shifted. Coulson saw beyond the Vegas spotlight and started looking for something new.
First of all, this WNBA free agency will not let us rest. Number one, we literally cannot rest. But also, I love this move again. Like, Sydney Coulson is a great player, but she's also a player that is going to add even more to what we're going to talk about later, and that's that chemistry of the team.
Let's talk about Sydney Coulson's impact. Her stats, 2.5 points, 1 assist, and 8 minutes per game last season, won't turn heads. But numbers don't tell the whole story. She was a defensive menace, a clutch performer when it mattered most. Think back to the WNBA Finals 2 years ago. She was making game-changing plays, the kind that don't always make highlight reels but win championships.
Her, Kelsey, and Aaliyah, Boston, they had something special the second half of the season, and I just look at them as a young, hungry team. Our veteran president with Joanna Bonner, Natasha, and me coming from winning programs who have been around the league for a long time and can help infuse something in that team that can take them far in the playoffs, bro.
Here's the catch. Coulson wasn't just a player. She was the glue that held the Aces together. The ultimate teammate, the locker room leader, the energy source when things got tough. Every championship team needs that one player who lifts everyone around them. And for Vegas, that was Coulson.
You mean to tell me that 2-time WNBA champion, the face of the God Dog League, okay? The Aces' main girl, right-hand man, Sydney Coulson, is no longer returning to the Aces and is signing with the Indiana Fever? First of all, do the Fever even have any more roster spots open? How many folks are you guys going to sign?
Now, let's turn to Indiana. The Fever are making moves like a team that knows they're close to something big. Natasha Howard signed, Joanna Bonner secured, Sophie Cunningham added, and now Sydney Coulson. Indiana is building something special, and they're making sure everyone sees it.
She's the face of the league, self-appointed face of the league, but also just in entertainment and all of these things. She has done and achieved so many things and continues to find amazing places in the WNBA, including with the Indiana Fever right now. And I'm just really, listen, what other moves they gonna make? Because I love this one too. And just great move after great move after great move. And
why did Coulson leave a championship caliber team? Fans are stunned. Social media is in chaos, and no one saw this coming. Aces supporters are in disbelief, while Fever fans are celebrating like they hit the jackpot. This move has everyone talking, and the drama is just beginning.
I'm excited for Sydney Coulson, and I'm excited for the Indiana Fever because they have an amazing player who is also very hilarious, like one of the funniest people in the league. So really excited to see this.
Said, imagine the content between Sydney and Caitlin. It's going to be comedy.
Content for days. I know the Indiana Fever front office is just celebrating because that is a part of it too, is content and having players that are going to be good at that. So come on, Sydney.
Coulson chose Caitlin Clark over Aja Wilson. Let that sink in. Wilson's most trusted teammate, the one she called her favorite, just packed up and left for Indiana. This isn't just a roster move, it's a power shift. The WNBA is entering a new era, and the Fever just sent a bold message. They're here to take over.
What do you mean Sydney Coulson is joining the Indiana Fever? What does that mean? Indiana is just being so greedy right now. They took DB, they took Natasha. Now they got Sydney Coulson. Like, why would they take Sydney from us? Why would they take Sydney from us? What the fuck we ever do to Indiana? Except beat them. But like, what the fuck we ever do to Indiana?
This move is about more than just basketball. It's about building something real and sustainable. The Fever aren't just adding a backup guard for Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. They're bringing in a proven leader, a defensive ace, and someone who knows exactly what it takes to win at the highest level. Meanwhile, Aja Wilson isn't taking this well. Social media is in full meltdown mode, with her fans losing it over Coulson's departure. But what is it about Sydney Coulson that has everyone in such a frenzy? It's simple. She's a game changer, on and off the court.
See it. I'm really trying here not to crash out, okay? I can't take too much more. I just said the other day, what did I say? Another bomb is Sunday. I said, this isn't it. You know, I can't wait to see what the next bomb would be. Didn't know this would be the bomb. Stephanie White ain't playing fair. I have to say it again. Stephanie White is not playing fair. She on one.
Coulson might not look like a game changer at first. She's not a high-volume scorer or someone dropping 30 points a night. But that's not what makes her special. She's a defensive disruptor, a playmaker with elite court vision, and a clutch shooter when it counts. Now, imagine those skills alongside Caitlin Clark or Coulson stepping up when Clark takes a breather. That's the kind of depth that transforms a good team into a great one. Her impact goes beyond the box score. It's about making winning plays when they matter most.
Sydney Coulson is a two-time WNBA champion, a true vet, an amazing backup point guard. And anytime that CC or any of the guards need to go to the bench, I mean, Sydney Coulson always makes the right call, always makes the right decision. So to pick up a vet, a professional like Sydney Coulson, and then you also have a vet like Dewana Bonner, and you also have a vet like Kelsey Mitchell, and then you have CC and Aaliyah Boston and Lex.
Coulson's impact isn't about flashy stats. The Fever didn't sign her to be their top scorer. They already have firepower. They needed a defender who can lock down opponents, make smart plays, and thrive under pressure. She's the kind of player who steps up when the game is on the line.
I hope that some of y'all, if y'all are not familiar with Sydney Coulson, I hope y'all, watch some highlights of her, because don't just be like, oh, Sydney Coulson, she barely scored last year. She's not good for the Indiana Fever. No, she is. She is. Don't.
What truly sets Coulson apart is her leadership. She's not just another name on the roster. She's a two-time champion who's battled through the toughest moments and knows what it takes to win. For a young team like Indiana, that experience is priceless. She elevates everyone around her, keeping teammates focused and locked in when the grind of the season hits. Coulson brings more than skill. She brings a winning mentality.
Caitlin Clark actually spoke on this on Sunday, and she had this to say, quote, I'm excited. obviously we made some great moves. I think Kelly and Amber and the whole Fever organization are helping us to win now. And I think that's really important. I think they're putting really good pieces together that are going to complement each other really, really well. And then she continued talking about Steph, their new head coach, and said that Steph taking over as head coach for us, I think is going to be really great. A great basketball mind, someone that actually called quite a few of my college games. So being able to build that relationship with her and just be in the gym and work on things that she probably saw when I was a freshman in college.
Beyond the game itself, Coulson is the glue that holds a team together. The kind of personality that keeps a squad united through the highs and lows of a long season. In the WNBA, where chemistry can mean the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit, that presence is invaluable. And don't overlook her ability to deliver in big moments. Coulson has been there before, hitting clutch shots, making game-saving defensive plays, and thriving under playoff pressure. When the lights are brightest, she doesn't back down. She steps up. That's exactly the kind of player you want backing up your stars.
We knew that Caitlin Clark was this phenomenal talent, but she was entering a league that she was not familiar with. She was a rookie. The Indiana Fever have been actively building and rebuilding their organization and this team, and they have a lot of incredible pieces. But the fact that they were able to get into the playoffs and be a team that, although they didn't, advance far in the playoffs, they were a team that we kept saying, if you face them, they're gonna make it difficult for you. That organization then saw that and said, we're capitalizing on this and we're doing it now.
While everyone focuses on the biggest offseason moves, don't overlook this one. Sydney Coulson might be the most underrated addition to Indiana's championship vision. The Fever didn't just sign a player. They brought in a proven winner, leader, and key piece for long-term success. Take a step back. Indiana isn't just stacking talent. They're building a winning culture. They're fostering an environment where elite players thrive, competition drives growth, and every move pushes them closer to contention. Coulson plays a vital role in that. A steady presence to keep the team grounded. A veteran leader ensuring their young core stays locked in.
What Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal, in my opinion. They are taking this young, talented core that they have, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked with. Let's talk about that too, and has chemistry with and knows the work ethic of. And they are building this super team, make no mistake about it, that is going to give you instant results.
Picture this. Final minutes of a tight game, the crowd roaring, tension at its peak. And there's Sydney Coulson, calm under pressure, sinking a clutch three, or forcing a game-changing turnover. That's what she thrives on. And now she's doing it in a Fever jersey. But here's what makes this move even bigger. Coulson isn't just backing up Clark and Mitchell, she's elevating them. Her experience, high basketball IQ, and championship mentality will create a ripple effect across the entire roster. She's not just filling a role, she's making everyone around her better, bringing the kind of leadership that fuels championship runs.
This season, the Fever is going to run amok this year. You got DeWanna Bonner. Oh, my God. They took Sid. And some of y'all really don't feel like Sid was that valuable. Sid, so valuable. To not see Asia, Sid, Chelsea Gray, KP, and Jackie Young together.
Now, let's shift focus to Las Vegas. Just months ago, the Aces seemed invincible. Back-to-back champions, the league's dominant force. But suddenly, cracks are forming, and it's not just about losing Sydney Coulson, it's about what her departure represents. A'ja Wilson's fans are spiraling, and for good reason. Losing a player is one thing. Losing a key part of a team's chemistry and leadership is another. Coulson wasn't just a backup. She was the heart of that locker room. Some Aces fans are feeling it deeply. One simply said, "This just hurt my feelings." Another took it further. "Guys, it's over. Just give the Fever the title now." An overreaction? Maybe. But it speaks volumes about what Coulson meant to Vegas.
I need somebody to investigate Indiana. I need Indiana investigated. Unfortunately for Indiana, I will be praying on their downfall. I will be praying for them to lose every single game. Like, I just can't. I just can't.
Let's be real. This isn't just about one move. It's about momentum. Indiana is stacking talent, building towards something bigger, while Las Vegas is watching its championship culture start to slip. The Fever aren't just rising, they're coming for the throne. And with Sydney Coulson now in their corner, the Aces should be very, very concerned. Aces fans are spiraling, pointing fingers at Indiana's front office, accusing them of building a super team. But let's be honest, it's a front office's job to construct the best team possible. No one complained when Vegas stacked their roster with 6 Olympians. Now that the Fever are making major moves, suddenly it's an issue? The shift in power is real, and the league is taking notice.
What is painfully clear, and what I've talked about in my other videos, is that the league, the Fever organization, are doing everything they should do to make sure their star is happy and that their star gets a ring. I didn't know they were going to load up like this, though. Dewana Bonner, Sydney Coulson, just re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. You already have Aaliyah Boston. You have Caitlin. You have Lexi.
Sydney Coulson's departure isn't just a minor shakeup. It's an earthquake shaking the entire WNBA, and the aftershocks are shifting the league's balance of power in ways no one expected. Let's break it down. Coulson leaving is just the beginning. The Aces have also lost Kelsey Plum, one of their most impactful players. Their championship-caliber bench? Gone. Rookie standout Kate Martin? Living her best life in Golden State. 2 assistant coaches and their GM? Out the door. And let's not forget the ongoing Dearica Hamby lawsuit. It's like watching a dynasty crumble, piece by piece. Meanwhile, in Indiana, the Fever are riding an unstoppable wave of momentum. Caitlin Clark's arrival was already a game-changer, but now it feels like the franchise has been launched into an entirely new era. Analysts are no longer talking about them as a rising team. Some are already predicting they could win it all this season. From a squad that won just 5 games 2 years ago to a legitimate contender, this isn't just improvement. It's a full-scale takeover.
You know, they were so close. They made the postseason, I should say, for the first time in a long time. But this is going to catapult them to what I see as being in the finals, if not winning the whole thing. If you look at,
it's not just about the roster on paper. The Fever are winning where it matters most, with the fans. Ticket sales are skyrocketing, jerseys are flying off the shelves, and media coverage is at an all-time high. Caitlin Clark and this revamped Fever squad aren't just making noise, they're becoming the heartbeat of the WNBA. So, are we witnessing a power shift? The Aces, once the undisputed queens of the league, are suddenly looking over their shoulders. And the team closing the gap? The Indiana Fever, driven by the unstoppable force that is Caitlin Clark. This isn't just a rise, it's a revolution.
They are giving their star, Caitlin Clark, all the pieces she needs to be successful. And you have to clap for that, because this is what you do when you have superstar talent. You build a superstar team. And this is what the Indiana Fever have done.
What does this mean for the upcoming season? The Fever have gone from scrappy underdogs to legitimate title contenders at lightning speed. They've got the talent, the momentum, and now, with veterans like Coulson, the leadership to match. Meanwhile, the Aces' aura of dominance is fading. Their grip on the league is loosening. And Clark's star power? It's not just elevating Indiana. It's shaking up the entire WNBA.
Can't falter. That's what good coaches do. She is on one, man. She came in and said, I got some things I need to do, and I'm going to get them done. And I'm going to build around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. And I know, you got to give props and props to do. Y'all, the Fever go run some stuff this year.
Picture the Fever in action. Clark commanding the offense, Kelsey Mitchell slashing to the rim, Natasha Howard and Aaliyah Boston owning the paint, and DeWanna Bonner locking down elite scorers. Off the bench, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, and Sydney Coulson add shooting, hustle, and defensive intensity. This isn't just a strong roster, it's a nightmare matchup for every opponent. The most dangerous part? This team isn't just built for immediate success. It's constructed to dominate for years. But the real test is chemistry. Talent alone won't win a championship. If the Fever can mold these pieces into a well-oiled machine, they won't just compete. They'll control the league.
It is the most important thing. You got to have somebody that can run up and down the floor and catch those passes Caitlin's going to be throwing.
With the 2025 WNBA season fast approaching, excitement is reaching new heights. The Indiana Fever, once an afterthought, have emerged as a legitimate threat. Caitlin Clark's confidence in the team is infectious. "I think they're putting together a really great group that's going to complement each other well," she recently said. But it's not just the players who believe. Analysts are taking notice, and predictions are rolling in. Many see this mix of young stars and seasoned veterans as the perfect recipe for a deep playoff run. Meanwhile, the Aces, they better watch their backs. So here's the real question. Are you ready for a changing of the guard? This season, the WNBA may just crown a new powerhouse. The battle lines are drawn. Whose side are you on? If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.